Let me welcome back to the show. She is glowing, beautiful, glorious, brilliant, loving, all of the things. And she is back for another season of this witchery show called Motherland, where she's the president. Let me welcome the one and only Sheryl Lee Ralph.
Hi, Karen Hunter. How you doing, girl?
I am awesome. And you look awesome. So I know you're doing well. Tell me all of the great things that are happening.
Oh my goodness. Life. Well, you were talking about Motherland, Fort Salem, and we're going into our second season. And I got to tell you, playing the 45th president of the United States of America in an alternative world has been a challenge, but President Kelly Wade is up to the challenge, and I am loving it.
Yes, it is. You actually, because I've watched the first season, and you embody presidential energy. So I think, yes, you I know you're acting, but it almost is, that character suits you is all I'm going to say. Now,
thank you.
I'm taking a break from witchery because I feel like we have a lot of demonic energy going on in the world right now.
Well, this is true.
And I knew you would understand what I'm saying. There are so many. I'm watching Netflix. There's like witches and demons and ghosts and like every other show's got a witch, a demon, werewolves, and all vampires and all kind of things. And I'm feeling like we got enough of these zombies and stuff walking around in real life. How do we navigate these spaces?
You know what's so interesting about that is I was talking, today earlier. I've been talking to quite a few people, and I was saying, what has happened in our lives right now, where we have become the kind of people who would say, in the midst of a dangerous pandemic, my children don't need protection. If it's my children's time to go, let my children die. I'm confused because, see, that's demonic. I honestly thought that self-preservation was the first law of nature, but who have we become to say, I'm not taking no vaccine because if it is my time, then it's just my time, and I'm just gonna go on to meet my maker. Well, just because it's your time to meet your maker does not mean it's my time to meet my maker. Be selfish with your own life. Go live off someplace by yourself so that you don't contaminate anybody else, because something has gone absolutely wrong. I honestly thought that in my lifetime, hate, racism would have disappeared. I never thought that I, a child of the 60s, would grow up to see hate, racism raging the way it is, unapologetically the way it is, people standing in their hate, people standing in their racism. They used to cover it up with a cloak or a Casper outfit. Now all of that is on. See me for the racist, inhuman being that I am. And it is frightening. It is witchery. It is demonic. It is awful. And it's living right next door, across the street. It is walking in the mall. The Candyman is real. Say it. Candyman, Candyman.
Don't say it. Don't say it 3 times. I don't say it. Ah! Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, don't do it.
Girl, please. Please, listen, I'm on a show called Motherland, Fort Salem, and I've got the witch bomb. I dare the demons to come. What you gonna do, demons? I've seen you before. I've seen you for 400 years. What are you gonna do? You're now all dressed up. You're standing there in the Capitol, and every time you open up your mouth, I hear you with what you're saying, because I know now every time I move forward, there you are to drag me back and tell me I'm a fool. No, I didn't move the bases. No, I didn't move that red line. No, I didn't move it. No, I'm not really taking your vote away from you. Wake up! Yes, they are. And yes, they have been. Demons are real. Yeah.
Thank you. I knew you would understand. And there are people who are saying they're not taking the vaccine because it's the mark of the beast. But I read my Bible, and the mark of the beast, you're gonna have to make a choice between Satan, the adversary, and Christ, God, right? You have to take the mark, you have to choose a side. Verbal, you have to willingly. None of us have had to make a pledge to Satan to take the vaccine. So therefore, I must conclude that it is not the mark of the beast. It's coming though, perhaps, if you feel like I do, which is like we are, yeah, I don't know what the hell. But
Listen, we live in the United States of America. People like to drive. If you want to drive, guess what you have to get? A driver's license. You got to get a license. Okay, people want to vote. More people should want to vote. But if you want to vote, you know what you got to do? You got to register to vote. When it comes to our health and well-being, if there were a virus around that was killing people, making people drop dead, I would say you got to get vaccinated. But I remember a time in the past when I was working around HIV and AIDS, telling people use condoms. Nobody wanted to use condoms. They didn't want to touch condoms, didn't want to have the conversation about condoms when condoms were a known barrier to the disease. People didn't want to know their status. They didn't want to go in and get tested because it had nothing to do with them. Now here we are with Corona. People need to use a mask. It's a known barrier to the disease. Can't get people to wear masks. They will offer their children up saying our kids don't need the mask. No, people don't want to get vaccinated. What has happened to us as human beings? Self-preservation used to be the first law of nature, and now people want to ignore science and just lay themselves down to die, and they don't want to die alone. They want to make sure that they take others with them. We've seen people who on their deathbed said, I'm dying, but I'm supposed to die now. I didn't take the vaccine, I didn't wear my mask, but I'm dying now. What kind of absolute madness is this? I thought we would only see stuff like that on a show like Motherland, Fort Salem, where we have to fight real demons. Yes, but no, these demons are walking out there with us. Oh, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Sure, but it's Sheryl real Ralph in America. Can you believe this is our America? Can you believe it?
I can. I believed it as soon as Trump got elected. I was like, all things are possible, but all bets are off. So, Sheryl Lee Ralph, I want to back up a little bit because you glossed over something for 25 years. You have been at the front lines, the crusading, advocating for people with HIV and AIDS. Every year you do this amazing program, Divas, and it's beautiful, but also it's very helpful. And during COVID, a lot of things have been on the rise, but there's also now these home kits that people can test their status and test their, how much, whether or not they have HIV. I think that's important. There's a lot of movement in the medical field, but a lot of that work was pushed by you. A lot of the movement that has happened is because of people like you out there lending your voice. And we were talking before you got here about the Black elite and the responsibility of folk in your position to do more. And I just want you to speak to that, what compelled you to continue to do the work that you're doing in that area.
Because I always believed that trusted messengers are very important. I believed that, very early on, the money was not following the disease. And when the disease became something that was threatening Black and brown people, other than what they said was a gay white man's disease, I'd always seen it as something that could affect women, especially Black women, because I remember Sharon Red was infected with HIV and died of AIDS. My next door neighbor, my childhood next door neighbor, who was a crackhead, and she quite literally died because of AIDS, and nobody wanted to pay attention to the fact that these Black women were suffering either through heterosexual sex or through a crack crack addiction. Nobody wanted to talk about that. And it was hard to get our community to want to hear about that, because just like now in a time of COVID, we feel like we're carrying the burden of our Blackness, the burden of our being here in these United States, that we don't want to take on one more thing. We didn't want to take on the idea of talking about gay Black people. We didn't want to take on the idea of crack addiction. We just had to let that generation go, I would hear people say. And I said, no, there's none of us that we've got to let go. We have got to keep carrying on an informed conversation. If we had been better about carrying on an informed conversation, the baby would not have said the things that the baby said. The baby said those things because there was no trusted messenger. Somebody did not care enough to help him know what were the facts around HIV, AIDS, or the female anatomy. He said some horrible things, and people let that be okay. The people who make money off of him let that be okay, until now the baby is being dropped from every concert. And I say, now is the time to talk to the baby and say, look, these are the actual facts around HIV and AIDS. These are the actual facts about a woman's anatomy and a woman's health and well-being. These are the facts. But no, he did not get that. He was armed with his mouth, spreading vile, awful things. And now everybody has just dropped him, and nobody has said, you know what, young man, let me just talk to you about this. Trusted messengers are important, and we need more. And that's why I continue to do what I've been doing.
And we appreciate it. I want the baby to be the man. I need him to grow up. We need less babies, more grown folk.
Yeah, but you want to know
30.
what? You know what? You know, and this is just Sheryl, and I'm not giving anybody a pass. But do you know why you are bright and brilliant? You're bright and brilliant because somebody poured into you. Somebody said, Karen Hunter, that's important. That person right there, we're going to pour into her. I am the person I am because somebody valued me enough to pour into me. Do you think that the baby acts the way he does, says the things he does because somebody said, you know what, let me take this bright personality, this charismatic, though hasn't been treated very well personality, let me take this possibility and help it grow into something wonderful? No, they let him stay the way he is right now, and they profited off of who he is right now. And now that he's about ready to hit rock bottom, they're going to say, kick rocks, baby. And that's sad, because you didn't do it by yourself. I don't do it by myself. And most of us who achieve greatness on that real important level, we don't do it by ourselves. And I feel bad for him.
Well, I like what you said. We can't afford to let anybody go.
No,
we can't afford to let anyone drop through the cracks. So we're going. I'm receiving that. I'm receiving what you're saying, Sheryl Lee Ralph.
You know,
your
it's
husband
interesting
thinks.
though. It's interesting though, because on this show, and I know you talk about demons and goblins on Motherland, Fort Salem, everything has been shifted in the world. The world is run by women. Women are in charge. Women are the powerful one. Women make things happen, and they don't leave anybody behind. And everybody has to stand up and be a part of their own stitch in the legacy. And I think more and more, that's what people of color have to start being, because we're losing too many people. We're losing ourselves to illness. We're losing ourselves to social illness. We're losing ourselves to mental illness. And we've got to go back and think, how did Ma, Pa, great Ma, great Ma, Pa do that under the shackles of slavery? How did they rise to get us to this point? We are at the Rubicon, and we cannot fail. We cannot fail. We've seen the best in Barack Obama. We've seen the worst in Trump. And now is the time for the great witches out there to use their power and make things change. I'm just saying, I'm part of a great show that has something good to say if you pay attention, just like life.
Listen, your husband, Senator Vincent Hughes, says that you, and he believes what I believe, that you would make a great president, a very believable president.
Well, I'm running for vice president of my union. I'm running for vice president of SAG-AFTRA. Now, if you're a SAG member, Karen Hunter, in the LA local, vote for me. I am definitely running for office. I want better. I want better for me. I want better for others. And you can still go ahead. Go ahead.
Wait,
go ahead.
I believe that Yvette Nicole Brown, whose birthday is today, is running for president.
She is running for president. They've got 2 teams running. And let me say to you, I'm all for the sisterhood. She may be on the other side, but I'm not coming for her, because this election for me is not about fighting. I'm not about warring. I need change. The folks that have been in power for the length of time that they've been in power, it's time for a change, and I'm on the side for change. But I love my sister Yvette. We're just on different sides. If she wins as president and I'm the vice president, what a wonderful thing that would be, huh?
Y'all better vote. Okay. And y'all better tune in to Motherland, Fort Salem, Tuesdays on Freeform. I watch it on Hulu because I got Hulu. Why waste it? Next day. And the finale is August 24th. Sheryl Lee Ralph is the president. It is worth your time. And she's not a witch. You're not a witch. You're just the president. And that just tells you your superpower is leadership on all fronts. That's right.